Hello and welcome to my Goat Shed Life. It's Memorial Day Monday, and today as I was thinking about Memorial Day, I started to think about a trip that I took 6 years ago or so with my mom, and we were headed toward Maine, and we were able to stop in Washington, D.C. there at the National Mall and spent the day looking at monuments, statues, and memorials. And the one that probably had the most profound effect on me was as we walked past the Viet Nam War Memorial, because it was name after name after name, and they're not very big, and there were so many of them, so many names, and it just it just touched my heart, and it made me sad to think about all of the people that all of those people on that wall. Somebody loved those people, and somebody lost their loved ones during the Vietnam War. And the other reason, I guess, that I think about Vietnam, or maybe the reason that it touched me so deeply, is because Vietnam was during the first 15 and a half years of my life. Vietnam actually went on between 1955 and 1975. And so for 15 and a half years, it was in the media. It was the topic of conversation, debate, and often heated arguments among people. And it caused a lot of conflict and upheaval in our culture at that time. And lots of anti-war rallies. And I remember in high school, people wearing POW and MIA bracelets, prisoner of war and missing in action. And it was just so very real to me, because from the time I could earliest remember until I was 15 years old, this was a daily thing in the media, talked about the war daily. And um, anyway, so that's why I guess it just held I had an emotional reaction to that wall. 58,000 people's names are on that wall. 8 of them are women, most of them are men, and a lot of them were probably young men, and many of them might have been drafted. They've been conscripted by selective service, and maybe they didn't even want to be there. Uh, Certainly people enlisted and people joined, but at that time, up until 1972 or 1973, when the last lottery was drawn for the draft, and basically we've been using uh, people enlist now. However, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but at 18 years old, when a young man turns 18, still he has to register for the draft in case we ever need to start those lottery drawings up again. And I remember when my own son, who's now 30, turned 18, and how much of a sinking feeling I had when he had to actually register for the draft, even though we weren't using it and still aren't and haven't been since the 70s. At any rate, today's a good day to think about those that have been lost, those who have served, and we've changed a lot, I think, in the way that we communicate, talk to, and treat returning soldiers. And I hear strangers talking to people in the military who have on their uniforms, and a stranger will come up and say, "Thank you for your service." Unfortunately, after Vietnam, that didn't happen very often. There were no ticker tape parades. Yay! Thank you for your service. And sometimes the returning soldiers were even spit on. At any rate, um, that's what I've got about Memorial Day. And just remember, anybody who's out there that has served in the military, I would just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for your service. And thank you for your service to this country. And you guys keep coming back, and I'll be back.